right, today we are going to learn how to find the area and perimeter of different figures on the coordinate plane. So just a reminder of some of the things you should already know about area and perimeter. To find the area of a square, it's the side squared. Area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. Area of a rectangle or parallelogram is the base times the height. You may think of this as the length times the width. The area of a rhombus, and this one you may or may not know, is the product of the diagonals divided by 2. So it's half the product of the diagonals. Okay, let's take a look at number 1. So we have ABC, and we're asked to find the perimeter of that triangle. So let me actually call up the one that already has. The triangle's drawn to save us a little time here. Okay, so here we go. And we'll take a look at the first one. So that would be the first step, to go ahead and graph it, and take a moment to do that. Okay, after we have graphed the triangle, we need to look at what type of triangle we have. If we look carefully at this one, you can see that we have an isosceles triangle. It may appear to be a right triangle, but if we count our slope out, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the slope of AC is 5/4. So if this were perpendicular, this one would have to be -4/5. So let's count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is positive 5/4, and this is -5/4. So this actually does not make a right angle, even though it might appear to be one. So this is not a right triangle, but if we look at these slopes, that helps us out with the distances. When we find the distance of these two legs, we can find that AC has a distance of 5 squared plus 4 squared, which is 25 plus 16, and 25 plus 16 is the square root of 41. When we find the distance of BC, BC is also the square root of 5 squared plus 4 squared, so this is the square root of 41. And when we find the distance of AB, AB has a distance of 8. We can just count that one out. So we do see that this is an isosceles triangle, but not a right triangle. With an isosceles, and we talked about this earlier, when we drop down a perpendicular, the perpendicular is a right angle and it bisects the base. So we can drop down this perpendicular to find the height, and we can just count that. So the base of this triangle is the side AB, so the base is 8 units. And the height of this triangle, we can count out. The height is 5. So now everything we need to know to find the area and perimeter. Area is 1/2 the base times the height, so 8 times 5, and half of 40 is 20 square units. The perimeter of this triangle is just the sum of the sides, so it's the square root of 41 plus the square root of 41 plus 8. So when we simplify this, we get 8 plus 2 roots of 41 units. And that's number 1. Take a moment and catch up with that. And we'll slide down. Okay, now we have 2 more examples here. This asks us to find the area and perimeter of this rhombus. So take a moment and go ahead and graph the rhombus. And we want to find both the area and perimeter. So since we're looking for the perimeter, we're trying to find the distance around all the sides. When we're looking for the area, we can just do the product of the diagonals, divide by 2. So those are the 2 things we need. So since we need the diagonals, I'm going to go ahead and draw those in so we can look at that. And this would be the easiest place to start on this one. Area is just the product of the diagonals divided by 2. And since they're on the horizontal and vertical, we can just count. We have 10 units plus the times the 4 divided by 2 gives us an area of this rhombus of 40 divided by 2, which is 20 square units. The perimeter, we would need to calculate the length of the sides. Now if we look at this, if we go back and think how we discovered distance formula from Pythagorean theorem, all these little right triangles that can be formed to make the hypotenuse, the edge of that rhombus, are all congruent. So if I find one of these distances, I know them all. And it is named a rhombus, so we should know that it has 4 congruent sides. So in this case, the perimeter is just 4 times that one distance. So the distance of these is 2 squared plus 5 squared. So we get 4 times 4 plus 25 is 29. 4 times the square root of 29. So the perimeter is 4 roots of 29 units. Okay, number 3. It goes ahead and tells us it's a square. We could prove it's a square by showing that opposite sides are parallel, or that we have 4 congruent sides, and that we have perpendicular lines here forming our 90-degree angles. But today we're just going to find the area and perimeter. So for ice, we just need the distance of the side. So we're going to find the length of a side, and that distance is the difference in our x's squared. So we can, let's do w and x, and we'll do the difference in our x's squared plus the difference in our y squared, and that gives us 4 squared, which is 16, plus 2 squared, which is 4. So this distance is the square root of 20, which we can and should simplify. 20 breaks down into 4 and 5. So the distance of each side is 2 roots of 5. Now to find the perimeter is 4 of those 2 root 5 lengths. So this is 8 roots of 5 units. And the area is side squared. Now you can either go with a 2 root 5, or you could go back to the square root of 20 here, because we're about to square it. And when we square the square root of 20, we get 20 square units. Now let's take a look at the last one. Okay, the last one is a rectangle. And we're supposed to find the perimeter and the area of this rectangle. Well, this one is the easiest of all, because the way this rectangle is graphed, we don't even have to use distance. These are horizontal and vertical lines, so we can count the length of AD and BC. AD and BC are both 5 units, and AB and CD are both 8 units. And that's all I need for this one. So to find the perimeter, we would do 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. So we would get 10 plus 16 gives us a perimeter of 26 units. And the area is base times height, or length times width. So it's 5 times 8, which is 40 square units. Okay, on the back of this sheet, you will find several problems that you can practice with. If you did not look over the weekend, the answer key to Friday night's assignment is posted on my website, so you can check that out. And then tomorrow, we will start our review.